And we're just going to go right now to former Australian Prime Minister Kevin Rudd, who joins us now in London. Mr. Rudd, thank you so much for your time this evening. How did you greet the news?
Well, like I think most Australians and most Brits, I assumed somehow in my deepest recesses of my mind that the Queen would last forever.
Yes.
That is, when I heard the news that she'd been sick, and we thought, well, but she always bounces back. You know, she got through the war, she got through the Blitz, Buckingham Palace was bombed, she survived all that, she'll be fine. So I think the mood, both for myself and Therese, who's with me, but also those who we've run into in the last several hours, is still one of disbelief.
Those that you have run into over the past couple of hours, what have they been telling you?
Something similar about the indestructible nature of Queen Elizabeth II. That is that she was so much the backbone of the nation, good times and in bad, and this force for continuity when there's just so much, frankly, difficult change to cope with. But, you know, also on a lighter side, people loved her sense of humour. They saw signs of it. She had this magnificent smile. And certainly the times that I'd met her and Therese and I had met her, we saw that side to her as well. She was a well-rounded human being, knew her constitutional duties, read her state papers, and had quite a wicked sense of humour.
Can you tell us a little bit more about those meetings, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I think we can now because she's passed away. I remember when I first met her, and of course Australian politicians are not supposed to be nervous about anything, but let me tell you, when you go to meet the Queen for the first time, you're a bit nervous, and I was. Like I'm a country boy from rural Queensland. It's a bit odd. You're suddenly as if you're walking onto a movie set when you go to Windsor Castle to see the Queen. But anyway, we sat down and had a great conversation, told her about my mother's reflections of her and memories of her during the war. The next time we met, Therese and I were at dinner with herself and Prince Philip at Buckingham Palace. And we were having a great conversation about the Commonwealth. Therese was having a great conversation with Prince Philip about dogs. And Therese is a big dog fan. And so Therese leans across the table and says to Her Majesty, can we see the dogs? And she leaned over and said, you mean the corgis? And Therese said, yes, of course, the corgis. Dying to see the corgis. And really? And she said, yes, I'm a huge corgi fan, even though Therese is a spaniel. But anyway, so a little button's pressed, and this sombre dining room is then inundated with dogs, with corgis. There's about 7 of them, and they almost wreck the place. And Therese leans over and says, that one down there looks different to the others. The Queen was sipping on her favourite drink was a Dubonnet, I think. Puts her glass down and says, yes, yes, she is different to the others. Her mother was a turtle trollop. And so it's,
Wow.
So she was. Well, I said, you know, look, I'm a Republican, so but you got to say, you're going to see the Queen. It's about as intimidating as going to see your nana. You know that she knows a lot about you because she reads her stuff. And whether you're Republican or monarchist, people just hold her in great respect across Australia and across this country as well, the UK.
Really well said. Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Rudd. Appreciate it. On a difficult night in London. Great memories there.